Let's see.
What?
You got a blue and purple mustache and beard.
I do?
Yeah. Let me do it. You go look and see.
No, it's live already. We gotta stop the live.
Oh wait. Well, look at me.
Oh shoot, how did I do that?
Erased it.
Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay. We fixed it.
I'm like, what you doing? All right, let's see.
Hold on. All right, we good now?
We good, girl.
We ain't got no beard, no weird special effects.
You lied.
I know.
Okay. In color.
All right, ready? All right. Hatafu, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I know I didn't give anybody any notice today that I was going to be doing this. This kind of feels like it's coming out of nowhere, but it's really not. Well, first and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am Hemet Netter and Bara Ma'at, the High Priestess and the First Lady of the Temple of Nu. And, you know, I've really been thinking a lot in the last couple of weeks about how to just better interact with and engage with you guys, the people who are following us on Facebook and supporting us from afar, from all over the country, all over the world, who are, you know, in your own little pockets of the world, you know, bringing Ma'at to life in the little ways that you can, trying to learn about the legacy, trying to expand the reach of the legacy, trying to bring Ma'at to your families and to your homes and to your hearts. So I intend to be doing these lives a lot more often, actually, just to support you guys in return, in terms of giving you energy, giving you direction, answering questions, and just getting a chance to talk to you about how it is that the culture is affecting your lives, how it is that you're using the teachings to become better. So I'm just really happy to be here to launch this series, essentially. And I'm really grateful to those of you who are joining me live, as well as those of you who are probably going to watch this on the replay. We've had a really big last couple of weeks, you know. For me, I had a big 2 weeks ago with the Ankh, the Ankh ceremony. I'm holding my Ankh here, which it was a really special occasion for me. It was the culmination of something that I don't even really know if I thought it was ever going to happen for me. And I gotta be honest with you, when I started my Kemetic journey, it wasn't something that I aspired to, right? I think when I started off my path down this road, to understand the legacy, and by understanding the legacy, therefore understanding myself, I really did it because I was unhappy and dissatisfied with the person that I was and with the life that I was living. And so my only goal at the time was to get to know myself, to get to know my purpose, and to become the best version of myself as humanly possible. And so I didn't have aspirations to priesthood. I didn't have aspirations to hold a title, or to be in leadership. I didn't have aspirations to be an Ankh bearer. None of those things were significant to me when I started. The only thing that mattered to me was that I found a spiritual walk that I felt was going to empower me and strengthen me. And that actually really speaks to what I wanted to talk about and share, because you know, I genuinely am grateful to the initiates of the Temple of Nu and the leadership of the Temple of Nu for recognizing the work that I've done in the last 10 years. But I also want to speak to them and let them know that I don't see that work is done at all. Like, I know that work is not done. Priesthood is a charge. That's probably the very first thing that I learned about priesthood when I was tapped on the shoulder to become a priestess. it wasn't a situation where I was perfect and where I was finished with the work that I needed to do or the contribution that I had learned everything that I needed to learn. I knew for a fact that wasn't true. And that probably was the thing that scared me the most about becoming a priestess, because I knew that I had so much left to learn. But in the process of going through my priesthood initiation, I came to realize that priesthood is a charge. It's a charge to service more than anything. My title, Hemet Neter. Hemet, in some ways, is the feminine version of the word Hem, which is a title for priests. Hem Neter is the masculine of Hemet Neter. And Hem Neter means servant of Neter. Some people define Neter to be God. Some people define Neter to be nature. Some people define Neter as the creator. Some people say the Most High. Some people say the energy of the universe. Neter is all of that. Neter is all of that, and yet Neter is more than that. So let's not argue about semantics, because Neter is everything that we can perceive and everything that we cannot perceive. And so when you are talking about serving Neter, you are talking about serving the people who Neter gave life to, right? If the energy and the essence of Neter flows through each and every one of us, then serving Neter means serving the divinity of each person that you encounter. And so how do you do that? How do you encounter people and leave them off better than they were before they met you? Making sure that every person that you touch and you interact with is improved by having the opportunity to talk to you and having the opportunity to learn from you and having the opportunity to share energy with you. How do you make sure that your energy is strong enough to receive their burdens and help them process their grief and help them process their guilt and help them to transmute it and grow so that they can go on to be who they're meant to be? How do you serve Neter? By serving the world around you, by making sure that every interaction you have with animals, with other people, with plants, with the world, it brings ma'at, it brings harmony, it brings order. It's a huge responsibility when you think of it. When you think about the fact that the power of Neter is a part of everything in creation, and that your responsibility as a Hem Neter or a Hemet Neter is to serve that energy, that divinity that is in every part of creation. There's no end to that charge. There's no end to that service. There's no end to the work that could be done. In the Temple of Anu, we have people who serve Neter through healing. They understand plants and herbs and medicines, and they understand the way those things affect the body, and they help people bring themselves into physical wholeness. And that is just one aspect of how it is that you serve Neter. We have a priestess who serves Neter by studying the cycles of the universe and by staying in tune with the movements of the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the planetary bodies, and not just how those bodies and those constellations interact with each other, but also how they affect us and how we can use those energies to our advantage, because Neter exists in all of those energies too. That's just another way in which we see the service to Neter in action, right? You have the Wab priesthood, which is all about serving Neter by helping people to raise their energy, to purify their auras, to purify their minds, to purify their spaces, so that they can bring the deity out of themselves, so that they can connect with their higher mind and their higher self. And that charge of purification means that you have to be a purified being too. You have to keep yourself pure, and you have to know how to make sure yourself is protected so you can protect others and purify others. These are all high charges. These are not privileges. It's work. It's so much work. And I think that's so important, because I find that when I talk to people about priesthood, not just in the Kemetic tradition, but in other African traditions in general, people have ideas about priests, about how they are self-serving, about how, they just want titles, they just want recognition, People see priesthood as the only thing to aspire to, right? They don't know what else to do or where else they could be going. And so they're like, oh, I must be supposed to be a priest because that's what the end of the journey is supposed to look like, right? And so when you have an approach like that and a thought like that, you know, priesthood then becomes something that is not. Right? And now it becomes corrupted. It becomes, you're becoming a priest for your own personal gain. You're becoming a priest for your own personal recognition. You're becoming a priest so that you can stand above other people or have people bow to you or have people give you things. And none of those are reasons why any of us should commit our lives to serving Neter. Like, all of us should be striving to serve Neter for the purposes of Ma'at. And so priesthood can never be just about, you know, wanting to get things or be recognized for ourselves. And let's just be very clear, you know, people are imperfect beings. Those of you who were at communion earlier today, you heard Nasibidi, Rasan Kus Kepper say the exact same thing that I'm saying. People are imperfect beings. Priests are people, and therefore priests are imperfect beings. But our goal as priests and priestesses, particularly on the Kemetic path, is to walk in Ma'at, right? And so there's a charge to be ethical. There's a charge to be moral. There's a charge to be righteous and honest and just and harmonious and to be reciprocal in our dealings. So it's not just about, I can't encourage you to be reciprocal if I'm not demonstrating reciprocity in my choices and in my actions. I'm not a good example to you of what righteousness is if I haven't cleaned up my character. So you see that the charge of a priest is not just to be standing in front of the people. No, the priest has to clean up his or her character and clean up his or her act before they can go about telling other people how to clean up their character or how to clean up their act. You understand? So priesthood is serious, man. Like, over the years, I have had some really difficult lessons as a priestess. I have been challenged and I have been charged by the Neteru over and over and over to overcome those challenges and to learn the lessons that I needed to learn in order for me to become a better person, a better woman, a better liver of Ma'at, right? And as I become better in living Ma'at, I bring my improvements and that energy into my community, into the Temple of Anu, and into the spaces where I interact with people. And I do so in a way that I hope makes them healthier, happier, and better, so that they are learning and they're growing and that their families can be improved because of the things that they're getting from the Temple of Anu leadership, from the priests and priestesses that are impacting them. So I wanted to reflect on that. I've been thinking a lot about it going into the Ankh ceremony and afterwards, just about this charge of priesthood and about what it places on me and what my responsibility and my requirements are for it. And there's a passage in one of Muwada Ashby's books where he talks about the charges of priesthood, and he talks about what it is to what kind of qualities you have to have, being impeccable with your speech, being impeccable with your time, being impeccable with how you carry yourself, with your purification, being connected to the Neteru, honoring your ancestors regularly, keeping your spirit and your energy light, staying healthy and staying on top of your diet. All of these things, not just one of these things or a few of these things, all of these things in concert with each other are so required, because again, you are a reflection to your community and you are serving Neter, but you're also reflecting Neter as well. And you serve Neter by being the best reflection of Neter that you can possibly be also. So if you aren't, your divine self is not shining bright, then you don't give any hope to the people that their divine selves can shine bright, that they can cultivate their inner divinity and bring that out. That's part of the responsibility of a priest too, to shine as brighter than anyone else in the room so that people know what divinity in action looks like. So this Ankh, that was crafted for me by Baba Haru Ankra Samaj Se Fatah of the Studio Fatah, who I adore. First of all, let me just say this. I adore Baba Haru. And those of you who have not gone to see him at the studio, let me tell y'all need to go down there and see him. Speaking about priesthood, Baba Haru is such an amazing example of priesthood in action. You know, Baba, this year we celebrated 50 years of the Shrine of Ptah. His commitment to this legacy and to the elevation of African people in this country is like incredible. I don't even know if I have words to speak about how amazing it is that he has committed his life to this mission. That goes to show you we don't do it for the glory. Baba has never done it for the glory. He's never done it for the fame or for the money or for the prestige. He did it because as a son of Ptah, it was his charge to be a divine reflection of Ptah. And Ptah being the craftsman, Baba formed the studio of Ptah so that he could craft beautiful pieces like this with his hands and give them to our people as sacred amulets, as power pieces that we could use to remind ourselves of our divinity and to empower ourselves in our walk. If you go spend time with him in the studio, wisdom is constantly dripping from him all the time because he wants something that he says to fall on your ears and make you better. Like, that's priesthood. That's what it means. It's not about what you have to gain on any level. And it's not just about helping people either, because you could help people without being a priest. It's really about being a divine reflection of Neter and constantly serving Neter, putting Neter and the Neteru and the ancestors first and foremost in your life, ahead of yourself, ahead of everyone else, ahead of anything else. Nasut Bedi Rasan Kukeber to me is another example. Nasut and I, very interestingly enough, we always remind each other that Neter comes before each other, right? Like in our relationship, if I have readings to do, if I have time I need to connect to the Neteru, I gotta say, Nasut, this is my time for the Neteru. I gotta go. And Nasut does the same thing to me. I'm like, Nasut, I want to watch this movie. Let's cuddle up on the couch. He's like, nah, this time is for the Neteru. I got to go do what they're calling me to do. I have a charge. I have a reading. I have a consultation. I have something I have to do, and I have something I have to give. I have to stop what I'm doing. I have to move things around in my life to prioritize, not just to make room for the Neteru, but to prioritize the Neteru, to put them first and foremost, not just like I'll get to that eventually or I'll schedule that time at some point. Like, no. They are the priority. They come first. I move everything out of the way so I can do what the Neteru are calling me to do. These are the examples that I look to. I see it so much in other priests and priestesses. I see it so much in Harit Akut, Shatatiet, Mutshepset Shaor Tepramutab of the Nuaset Temple. Mutshepset, when she is feeling devotional, like you can't, the energy running through her is exceptional. Like you can see it in her face, in her body. She vibrates with divine energy. She lets it flow through her. She does not hold anything back from the Neteru. When we talk about Amatu and Panatir, give yourself to Neter daily, she gives her whole self to the Neteru. She allows the Neteru to use her body, her mind, her feet, her tongue, her heart, to touch the people, to teach the people, to impact the people, whatever they need of her. She gives herself to them. It is so evident. Every time we're with her, I feel that and I see that from her. So these are the examples. When I'm talking about what it means to be a priest, that's what I'm pointing to. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm learning from. So that's why I know that it's not just a thing that you do to get prestige, because none of those people did it for prestige. They did it for the glory of the Neteru. The only prestige that they ever intended to give was to glorify the Neteru and to glorify the ancestors. Never to glorify themselves. Never to put themselves in a position above anybody else or above anything else. Never to call fame and fortune upon themselves. Never to stand on a platform, and be the big boss in the front. That's not why they did it. That's not why they do the work they do. That's not why I do the work that I do. So it's important when we think about priesthood that we ask ourselves, what's our motivation? Why do I want to be a priest? Why do I want to be a priesthood? What do I have to give? And am I ready to give my whole self to the Neteru? Am I ready to tell my children that they gotta wait because I gotta do for the Neteru? Am I ready to tell my mate that he or she has to wait because I gotta do for the Neteru first? Am I ready to tell my job I can't come to work that day because I gotta do for the Neta and the Neteru? Am I ready to clean up my character, to clean up my act? Am I ready to get myself and my energy, my behavior, my words, my thoughts? Am I ready to elevate that so that 24/7, 365, I am a divine reflection of the Neteru? Am I ready to do that? And if the answer to any of those questions is not unequivocally and unapologetically yes, then take a step back from priesthood. For real, for real. But I was supposed to be talking about this for a second. I was supposed to be talking about this for a second because I wanted to, I didn't actually ever explain to anybody what it really means. Or I guess a couple of you guys, I did tell y'all what it means, but not everybody. And I just wanted to share it. The temple of Anu, in our temple, our father deity is Ra. And so here I have placed Ra in a position of honor and praise. Ra is the Neter that we serve in the temple. Ra is my spiritual father. He is the energy that governs my head and my heart. And I have such a special and sacred relationship with Ra. I just feel his presence with me all the time. And just being connected to his energy and his light has been so meaningful and purposeful in my life. And so this Ankh was meant to craft symbolism that honors Ra and that also honors the feminine powers that support Ra. My position as Hemet Neter in a temple of Ra means that I am a feminine energy. I am a woman who supports Ra. And the examples for me that show me what it means to be a feminine power that supports Ra, I find that in the Neterut. I find that in Heteru, who is the daughter of Ra, who brings joy to the sanctuary, who is his hand, who is his wife in some stories. She is foremost, one of the most foremost powers that work with him, that co-create with him, that inspires him. And so Heteru is here in the cow horns, and also on the opposite side, here is Heteru. I also wanted to honor Aset. Aset supports Ra by birthing Heru into the world. And Heru, we understand Heru to represent the power of Ra as it manifests through us, right? Through mankind, as it manifests on earth through mankind. So I have Aset here on the ends. This is her throne. Aset is the seat of power. Aset is the kingmaker. Y'all understand? Aset is the kingmaker. She gives the power. She gives you permission to rule, okay? And then up here is Nut. Nut is the energy that supports Ra as he travels across the sky in the solar bark, day in and day out. And so the symbolism of that is just being able to help the energy of Ra stay high, reach its highest point, support it in its traveling up, support it when it's maybe not feeling so great, but still keeping it on its path, keeping that power and that energy of Ra center, focus, and high as much as possible. So so this is a tribute to the Neteru. This is really not even about me. This symbolism is not even about me. This is about the Neteru that I serve. And this is a reminder of my charge about how I'm supposed to serve Ra. I am supposed to serve Ra by being his daughter, by co-creating with him, by giving him my energy so that he can create in and through me, so that when people see me, they see my father Ra, right? I am supposed to support Ra by being devoted, by being nurturing, and also by supporting the king. And Nasib Bidi Ra Sanghukeber is our king. And so I support him. I am the throne of the Temple of Anu. I help to give him his power. I help to boost him. I help to build him up. That's my job, to help make sure that he has the strength that he needs to lead us in the right direction. That's part of my charge. And then to hold the divine masculine up, to hold it up, to hold it accountable, to keep it strong, to keep it centered, to keep it steadfast on the path of Ma'at. All of this is a part of my charge. So when you see this, you're not seeing like my ego, you're not seeing like me glorifying myself. You're still seeing another example of me glorifying the Neteru. And over the last 10 years for me as priesthood, that's what I've learned that priesthood is about. It's all about centering the Neteru. It's all about centering this legacy. And it's all about putting people first as they cultivate the Neteru that exists within them, and making sure that the Neteru express themselves through them. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. And I want to thank you again for joining me in this little chat. And I don't have anybody behind, so I can't see if y'all have comments or questions or anything. But if you have asked questions, I will read the comments and I will get to them. And as I mentioned before, I promise you that this is not the last time that we're going to speak. So if you have questions and you want me to answer them in this forum, I'm happy to do so. As long as they're appropriate questions, feel free to ask them. You can leave a comment. And you can, Baba's watching? I'll get my eye, Baba. You can ask your questions. You can send messages to us in the Facebook direct message, or you can shoot us an email, templeofanu@gmail.com. I'm going to try to notify you ahead of time next time I'll be live. But just in case I don't, make sure you follow the Temple of Anu on Facebook so you can get notified when we're going live. And hopefully, you know, I get a chance to interact with some of you in person. We've got the Feast of Sekhmet coming up real soon. We're going to celebrate the Divine Feminine Triune. In January, we'll celebrate the Festival of Heavenly Satisfaction. And then throughout 2020, we'll have numerous events and ceremonies that we'll be celebrating. Henek Ma'at, Wepron Pet. We'll have another Netta Relationships workshop focused on understanding the Netta Haru. We'll have a women's intensive. I think we're even thinking about doing something for the brothers this year. Don't let me promise anything, but I think that's in the works. So please follow us and stay tuned, and I will speak with all of you soon. Shami Matad.
Oh, here we go.